when I first saw the Baltimore Ravens left the door open for a possible Justin Tucker reunion, I was like, nah, that's garbage. Ain't no way that that's real. But then I saw it for myself and I said, oh, wow. So going back, when the Baltimore Ravens, when they released Justin Tucker and they said it was strictly due to football decisions, we talked about it on here. We felt like that was just strictly for legal reasoning because Justin Tucker had not been found guilty of any of the allegations at that point, and we felt that the Ravens knew they wanted to move on from Justin Tucker because of the allegations, but they couldn't say that it was because of the allegations, so they had to cover themselves. But Jeff Zrebiec highlighted another point on why the Baltimore Ravens said it was strictly a football decision. He was answering some questions in his mailbag, and somebody named Travis asked him, if the Ravens are struggling at kicker through week 11, my goodness, I do not want a scenario where that is the case, but it's a possibility. But anyway, he said if the Ravens are struggling at kicker through week 11, would they consider a Justin Tucker reunion? If not the Ravens, will Tucker ever kick for another team, be it this year or next? And Jeff Zrebiec's response was the following. He says, by maintaining that cutting Justin Tucker was a football decision, the Ravens kept the door open for a reunion. I said, whoa, wow. But continuing, still, they'd have to be in a pretty tough spot to make that call. Now with that, yeah, a really tough spot because obviously if Tyler Loop doesn't work out, we hope that he does, and we're rooting for him, but if Tyler Loop didn't work out, if John Horland didn't work out, for the Baltimore Ravens, in my opinion, for them to reach the point where they reach out to Justin Tucker, it would obviously have to be, like you said, week 11, because Tucker is suspended for the first 10 games of the season, or first 10 weeks of the season. But for them to reach out to Justin Tucker, they will probably have to have exhausted all options. Again, Tyler Loop doesn't work out. Horland doesn't work out. They call up some free agent kicker. It doesn't work out. They call up another free agent kicker. It doesn't work out. They would have to have gone through they'll probably even have tried out Jordan Stout at kicker again at that point for it to even get to that, for them to even think about bringing Justin Tucker back. I really do think that would take a lot. But something else that Jeff Zrebiec talked about, it makes sense. He said, I might be in the minority here, but I believe Tucker will kick again in the NFL. I don't think that's a long shot at all. Like we've talked about before on here too, and somebody asked the same question, do we think that Tucker will ever kick again? Yeah, we've seen much crazier things happen in the NFL, much crazier. Especially when it comes to strong allegations on even surrounding stuff like that. Some people thought, Deshaun Watson, he ain't never going to throw another NFL pass again. And there you go. But anyway, it says, he said that I believe Tucker will kick again in the NFL. All indications are that he wants to. That's the reason he accepted the league's 10-week ban, knowing the only chance he had to get back into the league was to get the suspension behind him. That's a really, really good point. That's why Jeff Zrebiec is the best in the business, because that man be on it, man. So shout out to Jeff Zrebiec. He said, it will take three things. One, he'll have to kick well in a workout and show his issues last year were a blip. Even though, like, as us as Ravens fans know, his kicking, it started going on sort of a downward spiral a couple years, even before last year. So he started this little trend where things weren't going so well, but they continued and they continuously got worse. But anyway, he says also he'll need a legitimate playoff contender to have a major issue at kicker in the second half of the season. Again, if that were to be the Ravens, things would have to be really bad, and they will have had to exhaust all options. But again, this is not just speaking about the Baltimore Ravens. It's speaking about just the NFL in general and the possibility of Justin Tucker getting another opportunity with a franchise. But then this part right here, he said, and three, he'd probably need to go to a team with a stable and well-respected general manager and head coach who could handle the criticism they likely get for bringing him in. Now, in my opinion, if the Baltimore Ravens were in that position, and like we said, they exhausted all options and they went through so many kickers and they got to the point where they were like, you know what? Let's give Justin Tucker a call. I feel like the Baltimore Ravens, they would be one of the teams that would be able to actually handle that situation if it even got to that point. Whew, but it would take a lot. And again, I don't envision it happening. Anything is possible, but I don't envision it happening because, again, I think they will go through everything. They will go through every single loophole, through every single kicker they possibly could before it got to Justin Tucker again. So that would that would be something right there. But when I read that, I was like, I never even thought about that. I never thought that them cutting him and the whole, it's strictly for football reasons, that could lead to a possible reunion with Justin Tucker. Very highly unlikely, but still possible.
The flock flies to the wise, it's a wonderful thing. Look what vision and commitment and some discipline brings. When 8 becomes 1, the mood swings and the flock sings for another ring. Man, we tuning in to Ingravenvids, set that scene tonight. Team, keep it clean, hold it down, the spark to ignite. A name in the lights, a North Star, ain't feeling far. When you run that north every year, that's just setting the bar.
So now we reach my favorite part of the videos where we get to feature your questions. Send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com if you want to take part in it. Or you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids to become a Team Keep It Clean patron and show a little extra support to the channel and send your question in a DM on there. First question came from Angel. She said, as several pockets of Ravens flock are aware about the post-2025 draft pickups during free agency market, and these specifics of bringing in Chidobe Awuzie, DeAndre Hopkins, along with considering re-recruiting Jadeveon Clowney, and 2 of my mock draft lists being picked up early with Mike Green, Bilal Cohn, and Tyler Loop, Robert Longerbeam and LaJohntay Wester, along with Sarah Ellison's honorable draft pick mentions of Malachi Starks. My question is paralleling about how the Ravens 2025 draft night days of 3 consecutively, how I have mentioned once or twice about the Baltimore Ravens finally acquiring a 3 or 4-headed Hydra tier of fearsome, strong, stunner playmakers with game records that very much, definitely, very much due to me extremely comfortable and cozy and finding several new gen emulative professionals just very much placing me in full reminiscence of the 2000 to 2013 Ravens. With the current roster mixed with multiple of the 2025 pickups, I just wonder if I'm not alone in seeing that we most likely have fully just filled that heyday hole mega properly currently this year so that all the other 31 teams can fully fear and be very intimidated by the Baltimore Ravens again, finally. That'd be nice. That would be very, very nice. I think we would all love that if they can really install fear in every single team, all 31 other teams in the league. That would be a beautiful thing. And that's not just fear on defense, because a lot of it has been highlighted about the Ravens defense, all these new pickups that they got, but on offense too, because you got the best player in the league in the game. You got one of the best running backs in the game, and your offense can just do so much. It's already shown that it can do so much, and you added even more to it, and they're even more seasoned. Again, having the same offensive coordinator, again, having a lot of the same personnel. So yeah, Ravens are in some really good shape. She also said, with Emory Jones Jr. and Ardarius Washington being out for recovery, maintenance, and health time, what is your opinion on moving up several folks on the roster and rookies to be part of the frontrunners due to recovery vacancies? I do believe this group can definitely boost up the Baltimore Ravens' success rate in both the regular season and playoffs and tournamenting capabilities. Now, that's what training camp is for. Emory Jones on the NFI list, Ardarius Washington out for most of the season, if not all the season, we'll see. But that's what training camp is for, and that's what just depth is for. So the more depth you have, the more quality depth you have. Yeah, losses suck and injuries suck. It's the worst part about football, in my opinion. But it's next man up mentality with the Baltimore Ravens. So it got to continue to be that. Angel also said, with the Baltimore Ravens, if they are interested in community days where the team takes turns traveling to all high schools and throughout the countries and counties in both the District of Florida and Maryland, will there be a column scheduled with daytime schools and hours of event postings on the Ravens app or the NFL app? I'm sure there are. I don't know how the Ravens handle that, but anytime they do something like that, yeah, BaltimoreRavens.com for all of that information. And they do have ways where you could reach out to them about stuff like that and they get back to you.